Hello everybody, sorry we had a couple of technical issues trying to get some audio working, and OBS just kept crashing with some real updates that messed things up. So I am back, unfortunately having to do this solo, so getting the production side up and running was a little bit difficult, but I'm back, I'm here, and hopefully you can all hear me. We are live for RaceFace round 5. We're at Paul Ricard, where we had an hour-long race. We've only got 40 minutes left on the stream. Pit windows open, as you can see at the top of the screen. It doesn't look like many of our drivers have actually done any of their pit stops just yet. I can't see. No, it looks like only one driver, Mike McGeer, has done his pit stop for now. So let's just run through things, give you guys an update at where they stand, because currently we are a little bit late into the race. Bruno Cadhill leads things at the moment here at Paul Ricard, followed up by Robert McCall in second. We've got Mark van Rensburg in third. Arno Versace in fourth. Is he fighting here? No, he's not. He was overtaking a back marker there. Brandon Kruger in fifth position. Sixth for Hugo de Wit. Bernard King in seventh. Jason Isherwood in eighth. Johannes Grayling 9th, Jared van Bagen 10th, Paul Gaber in 11th, Darren Peens in 12th, Thunder Cookie in 13th place, Jason Gray in 14th, 15th for Keegan Lehman, 16th for Arno van Mansberg, Francis Vogel in 17th, S. Raven in 18th, Battis Hugo in 19th, 20th would be Hercules Dupree. 21st would be Kyle McLean. 22nd for Marco Pirelli. Dogaber in 23rd. Stephen Sparks in 24th. Johnny Bago in 25th. Paul Gleed in 26th. Shane Parks in 27th. And Stephen Tablanche in 28th. Currently, our closest battle on track looks like this battle between Johannes Grayling and Jason Isherwood. And they've got, is this Jared van Bagen behind them? Let's get some driver name tags up above these guys so that we can see. Yeah, so Grayling, Isherwood, and van Bagen. That's the battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th. You can see in the background a couple of cars also not in the battle for position there, I don't think. But this little train from Bagen, is he going to make a move? Let's try and see if we can catch some of this stuff as well. Van Bagen goes side by side next to Isherwood down the straight. Now this is where things get interesting. Let's see, they're going to go side by side. Isherwood on the outside. Inside line for Van Bagen. Van Bagen will pass him. Let's see if Isherwood has any fight back for position here. So Paul Ricard, one of those tracks that does have a really, really long straight. So if your car's aero is not set up correctly, you can lose a lot of time running down there. Bruno Cadhill, he's still just running away with things. Oh, he's not running away with things. He's got McCall on his backside behind him there. So that car behind is the battle for second and first and second, Cadhill and McCall. So keeping each other within viewing distance. Let's see if we can get some onboard from McCall here. So here we go. We're getting onto that long straight that we talked about before. So entering it here with a second between them, 0.9. Let's see if he makes up anything down the straight. Of course, driving in that Bentley. So Bentley versus... Bentleys are quick down the straights. They got a big top end. The Merc's also quick though. So definitely something to look out for. I just want to see, if we follow along for a little bit here, where McCall finds some speed or finds that gap. It looks like Cadhill gets very understeery coming into the double right-hander. Bentley looking planted. A little bit of a different line for both of them. McCall and Cadhill. That's the battle for first and second. Let's go back and see what's happening with that little train that we saw earlier. See if we've still got a train going. Grayling, Van Bagen and Isherwood 8th, 9th and 10th. Not really a train anymore, starting to space themselves out. Francis Vogel and Raven. Is this a battle that could be brewing? Let's see if we can get some name tags going up here as well. So Vogel in that Bentley. Von Mansberg has lost the position to Vogel already. And it looks like Raven there also wanting to maybe capitalize on Von Mansberg losing a place. You know, it's all about that mental battle as well. When you are losing out, it feels like you're losing out everywhere. So Raven here in the Ferrari versus Van Mansberg in that Porsche. Coming down to start their 13th lap, I believe. 3T1 and 2. Looking nice and stable in the Ferrari. That Porsche also looking pretty planted. Can get understeery and oversteery all in one go. Oh. Doing well to just control the slide there. Does Raven. Does lose out some speed. Isn't going to be tucked up to the back of the Porsche where you'd probably want to be entering into the straight to make a move. But for now, Van Mansberg survives the attack that Raven was trying to amass. So Batis Hugo looks like he's also in a battle here for 17th versus Gray. Jason Gray in that Lexus looking to take 17th place off of Hugo's hands. Onto the straight, that Lexus powering down in the slipstream of Hugo. Going to pull side by side. That's going to be an interesting place to see a move being done. Gray on the inside. Hugo does give him the room. Gray nice and clean getting through. Makes the move. Takes a position. And that's also just what you want to see. Battles throughout the pack. Dupree, he's also on the attack. Another Lexus looking to make a move. The red and black livery for Hercules Dupree, number 23. He's hot on the heels of the battle happening up ahead of him between Gray and Hugo. Cars battling it out, of course, going to be losing time. And Dupree wanting to see if he can get a little bit of that action. But Hugo, he's not letting this position go freely to Gray. He's looking to fire back. That purple Bentley that we see on the screen is being piloted by Hugo. And trying to just find a place to take his place back. Let's see where else we've got a gap. Bernard King looks like he's getting into a little scrap with Van Bagen, or Van Bagen looking to take the place off of King. Let's go and see if we can get some onboard here. Down the straight they go again, pulling out of the slipstream. I think it's time for the helicam here as they go down that long straight. Van Bagen gonna commit to that inside line. I think we'll get alongside, even past, with the rate that he seemed to carry speed getting onto here. So Van Bagen gets by on King before the corner, and just what he wants to do. Grayling, he's also looking to have a move here. Let's go back to the helicam. Going to make a move there. So King loses 2 positions there to Grayling and Van Bagen. Good moves being done by both of them towards the end of the straight. Gleed, a back marker here, not wanting to get into the way of things, just holding his line. Grayling gets by okay. So anything can happen here at Paul Ricard. As you can see, positions will change up throughout the race. Bruno and McCall, another 2 drivers on my split screen. The battle for first and second to have a little look-see at. McCall still not managing to find... Oh, Van Bagen's just got a drive-through penalty as well. Oh, so into the pits he's going to go, and that's going to cost him big time. down the order he will go. Let's go back to Cadhill and McCall onto that long straight once again. Not actually sure of this straight's name. Actually, everything's in French, so to be honest, I'm not sure that I would be much use of trying to pronounce them anyway. Let's see if I can try and see what it would be called in French. Just, you know, for those that want to know. I mean, we could just, I think maybe I'll just refer to them by the corner names, or corner numbers. I think that will just be a little easier to follow along. So Cadhill and McCall continue. Let's go and see what's happening down the order. In 17th place, Pirelli and McLean. McLean gonna blaze on past Pirelli there in that yellow Porsche. I don't know if Pirelli's having some issues there. That Porsche not looking like it's 100% comfortable. And I mean, McLean just seemed to catch up and drive on by. So I'm not sure if Pirelli's had himself a little incident. So into the pits. I think he's gone in for his regular pit stop and then had to still do his drive-through penalty as well. So I'm not really sure what's happened down with Jared van Bagen in 19th place. He seems to have been in the pits for a long time, or I didn't see him come out. Lehmann in 10th. He's got Vogel looking to take that top 10 position off of his hands. McLaren versus Bentley. Lehmann in that white and gold 720S. Vogel on the inside here on the penultimate corner of Paul Ricard. Side by side they will go. I think he's got the move done. Vogel a car length ahead as they cross the start finish line for their 16th lap. Blue flags being waved in the background. That will be to Blanche. Let's see if Lehmann has anything to say going through T1 and 2. Doesn't look like he's going to fire back just yet. Vogel seems to have got himself ahead and sort of out of the trouble where he's having to defend, which is what you want to do when you've made a move. So McCall is going to take the position off of Cadhill off screen, and now up to Cadhill to take it back. So I missed that overtake. A little bit sad about it. So let's go back to our race leaders, McCall and Cadhill, and see what is plotting with them for a couple of laps. They're going to come around to start their 17th lap shortly. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a rear view here from McCall's point of view. Can take some things off, get a little bit pretty looking. And we can just see a screen full of big wing from the Bentley, and as Cadhill peels in closer, a full grille of that Mercedes GT3. So I just want to see down the straight where Cadhill tucks in, because he's done a good job to hang on through that complex of corners. And here they go. Cadhill not quite where he needs to be, I don't think, at this point. I've got some back markers there. Bago getting out of the way. McCall and Cadhill coming through. The charges here. Kruger's got himself a drive-through penalty in 3rd place. That is not what he's going to want at all. So Kruger, a bright green and red liveried Aston Martin. As you know, I like colors, so that car appeals to me. But he's got himself a drive-through, and that's something that we have to mention about Paul Ricard. There are so many places that you can just extend a little bit wide. The track does not punish you in terms of having grass and gravel traps. So if you do overextend, it's sometimes easy to forget to lift and the game will just punish you and say, you know, you've gained an advantage by carrying way too much speed through there. You would have definitely run into a gravel trap of some sort, and you're given a drive through. You're given warnings first of all. If you're found to have gained a massive advantage, you're going to be given a instant drive through, but you get 3 warnings before you are punished like that. So Kruger going to dive into the pits here to serve what I think would be his drive through. Still has to do his mandatory pit. We can actually run through a couple of the drivers that have done their mandatory pits. Versace's done his, Van Rensburg, Grayling, Gerber. So a couple of the guys there will obviously change up positions when the rest of the order goes into the pits. So Kruger going to go in. McCall and Cadhill up at the front still continue to slug it out. And it looks like once McCall have got past Cadhill there, he's enjoying the open air and not having to try and find a way past the driver in front. So now up to Cadhill. The pressure's there. I think I can run through the current championship standings as well. Let's see if I've got those saved somewhere. I think I did. Okay, so currently it's Cadhill up in first place. So he leads the championship. It's got 112. Is it 112 points? I'm not 100% sure there. Yeah, so I think Bruno is up at the top. Where is McCall in all of this? Was McCall a new entrant? Potentially is. I don't see him on this entry list. So McCall here, potentially a new driver. I'm not sure. If you're not McCall, I'm sorry. Great to see you here. I can't see you on the driver list on this, I think. Oh, King has got himself a drive-through penalty as McCall goes into the pits. King in third place. So third place seems to be that plagued position. You do not want to be in third place in Paul Ricard in the RaceFace.Pro round 5. Seems to be the unlucky number 3 where you get the drive-throughs for free. Oh, that's just unfortunate. There's such a long pit entry, such a long pit lane at Paul Ricard. It just feels like an arcade of time. So King is going to be diving into the pits to serve his drive-through penalty. Even tried to dive into the pits before the end of the last corner, potentially. But yeah, going to be diving into the pits. That means that third position will be taken over by Kruger. Versace in fourth. So Versace in fourth here, he's yet to pit. I mean, sorry, Versace has pitted. Cadhill hasn't pitted. McCall has gone into the pits now. But obviously, with where they were, Versace, he's now on the same lap as Bruno and Kruger. So Versace will hold down third place. I don't think he'll get back around. I think by that time, McCall's dropped down to 5th place in his pits. Okay, so I'm just catching up with where everybody stands in terms of their current laps. And it seems like everybody is on lap 19 down to position 13th. 14th will be starting lap 19 now. Okay, so that makes sense. So Bruno will hold down first place for the moment. Still yet to pit in his Silverback Racing Mercedes. As you see McCall getting out of the pits there. Right behind Bruno. Brandon Kruger. He's going to temporarily hold down second. Also yet to pit. Versace in third has pitted, so that's a driver in position. Vogel yet to pit, holding down fourth. Van Rensburg has pitted in fifth, so also going to probably jump up. I see Isherwood has just got given a stop-go penalty for 30 seconds. Currently running in 15th. That's going to punish him quite heavily. Parks drive-through penalty being served at the minute. Van Bergen also serving a drive-through penalty. Oh, the track limits punishing drivers here today. So it's not about speed and consistency only. It's also about the ability to keep it between the lines and manage those warnings. Getting those penalties is just so costly. And you got to feel for Isherwood down in 15th. A stop-go here is so much worse than a drive-through. And I think that might have even been picked up from speeding in the pit lane. I wish that ACC would give some kind of indication for broadcasters, like just a log file of where penalties have come out of. But for the minutes, I think it would be speeding in the pits that he's been given that stop-go penalty for. So not quite sure when our race leader Cadiel is going to decide to pit. For now, showing no indication that he wants to. 19 minutes left of the race. The pit window will close in 14 minutes. So for the last 5 minutes of the race, you cannot pit. So Cadiel will have to make his pit stop within those next 14 minutes. So just keep an eye on that pit window indicator at the top of the screen. That kind of shows where Cadiel needs to pit. And if you're wondering where you can see if the drivers have pitted, next to their race number is either a little 1 in orange or a little green indicator. The green indicator shows that they've pitted. The orange indicator shows that they are yet to pit. If they have 2 or 3 stops, that little 1 becomes a 2, 3. So you can set how many stops you want in ACC and how many mandatories they need to serve. So maybe we should do a full rundown of our order. We haven't gone past the top 10. So Cadiel first, second Versace, third Kruger, Vogel fourth, Van Rensburg fifth, Dupree sixth, Grayling 7th, Gaber 8th, Sparks 9th, Raven 10th, DeWitt 11th, Hugo 12th, McCall currently in 13th, 14th for Bago, 15th for Bernard King, Isherwood in 16th, Lehmann in 17th, 18th for Thunder Cookie, 19th for Van Mansberg. Pirelli, he's in 20th, McLean 21st, Gaber 22nd, to Blanche 23rd, Gleed 24th, Gray 25th, Parks 26th, Peens 26th, no, Van Bagen 27th. He seems to have stayed in the pits. He's done with the stop-go penalties. So he's going to stay in the pits for the remainder of the race, I imagine. Let's see a battle on track here between possibly McCall and DeWitt. So not quite sure what happened to McCall there. His pit stop potentially taking a lot longer than anticipated. Seems to have a long way to make up his way up the order here. So Bruno Cadiel gonna be smiling to himself just a little bit. That pit stop did not favor McCall at all. And now Cadiel, he's gonna have a good time, I feel, provided his pit stop does not go bad. Down to Kruger. Stop-go penalty being awarded to him. So maybe it's not just speeding in the pits. I'm not sure how else there could be other ways. I mean, of course there are other ways that you could get stop-goes. But currently in 8th, that's going to change up. Isherwood's serving out his stop-go penalty, I imagine. He was in 15th place before having to go into there. So let's see what happens to Kruger from 8th place. He's got 3 laps to serve his penalty. Very unfortunate circumstances, really. But that's really part of Paul Ricard. It's where the racing gets changed up. It's a track that, can be a little bit, boring at times. I feel like GT3 cars make it a lot more interesting as McCall's making his way through the order. He's got Batters Hugo next on his hit list. Might be good to watch McCall for a little bit. See where he finds his speed amongst the mid-pack. He was obviously giving Cadiel a run for his money. And there's his arch nemesis in front of him. Cadiel a lap ahead. Still going to go into the pits, so that will change things up, and it depends on where or how long that pit stop goes for Cadiel. But I don't think it's going to be a battle with McCall from there. Something's gone terribly wrong for him. Visagie, he might be the man that has to challenge. Have we lost our interface here? There you go. Visagie, he might be the man that has to battle it out with Hugo. I mean, with Cadiel, should the time come. I'm not quite sure he's going to be... Let's see where Cadiel is on track. So he's on the main straight. Visagie's about to come into T1. So it could be interesting to see where Cadiel comes out after his pit stop. Visagie hopefully going to give him a little bit of a battle towards the last part of this race. Where else do we see a little fight happening? So a couple of the drivers obviously getting flagged on my marker board as they pass drivers in the pits. Sometimes makes it hard to just follow on where accurate gaps are happening. But that does look like it seems to be, or it does seem to be our drive-through penalty for Lehmann in 15th as well. The things are just going from bad to worse for a lot of these drivers. Penalties galore. I think that will be the nickname for this stream. Kruger is here in the pits serving his drive-through penalty. Or stop-go penalty, should I say. It's even worse than a drive-through penalty. Having to stop for so long. So costly. So we seem to have lost driver name tags in ACC. It's a little bit unfortunate. Having a couple of stream issues tonight. Unfortunately, the Evo Media guys were not able to do the stream. And then when I tried to jump in and sort some things out and try and get it going, I just couldn't send audio. So it's been a tough road to get here, but I'm glad that I could be here for at least half of the race. Half plus 9 minutes, should we say. So Grayling in 5th. Drive-through penalty coming out for him. Oh no. What is ACC doing, guys? I just spoke about this, and it seems to... Whoa. Okay, wait. Let's try and reconnect to that. I have no idea. It's the gremlins. Let's just see if we can get back into this.
The pit is now open. Green light.
Okay, we fixed it. Something did not go. Something did not go okay with ACC there. But we're back. Hopefully there we go. We fixed driver name tags as well. So Cadiel, 11 minutes to go. Still yet to pitch here. Pretty much the only driver that hasn't pitted as far as I can see from the leaderboards. So really need to think about that. I don't think there's any need to extend driver stints, but Cadiel does these just amazing things. So driven like an absolute champ so far, and keen to see if he defends off against Visagie after the pit stop. In terms of lap times, let's see. Best lap time for Cadiel would be a 155.431. Visagie doing a 155.461. Last lap for Cadiel, 156 flat. 156.5 for Visagie. Let me see if I can see some of their average lap times as well here. I'm not sure. No, so not that I can see it. But it looks like Visagie does have similar pace to Cadiel. Not quite the same pace, but it really does depend on where he comes out. I mean, yeah, you can just see that something had gone terribly wrong with McCall's pit stop, because he's just made his way from 11th place where he was, just making his way through the order. He's now right behind Cadiel, who is still a lap ahead of him. McCall would have to unlap himself, which he will do when Cadiel jumps into the pits. But just hanging on to Cadiel was giving him battle the entire time. And I think that unfortunate circumstances changed things up. I think that's Cadiel going into the pits. Yes, it is. So Cadiel goes into the pits. Important now to follow on and see what happens to Visagie and see where he comes around. So I think he's got a good chance of taking the lead here. He is coming into those final couple of corners. This would be coming down into, what is this, T12? Yeah, so T12, 13, 14, and 15. Cadiel still in the pits, is moving now, will be exiting the pits. I think he's going to get out just ahead of Visagie. He will get out ahead of Visagie, but Visagie on the start-finish straight here will see the back of Bruno's car in the very distance. Cadiel does get out to maintain that lead. So brilliant stuff from Cadiel. A good drive and extending that pit stop to really the last couple of minutes. Only 4 minutes left of this pit window. All our drivers have pitted though, so 8 minutes of the race. Down to Visagie now to close things up. 10-second, or let's see what I've got. Yeah, I've got about 5.5 seconds gap on my split timing screen between Visagie and Cadiel. Let's see if we see. I mean, there you see the pink of Visagie's car quite far in the distance, so it is quite a big gap still for Visagie to close things down. But the temporary order within the last 10 minutes is Cadiel, Visagie second, Van Rensburg third, Gabber fourth, Grayling fifth, Raven 6th, McCall 7th, De Wit 8th, Dupree 9th, 10th for Bats Hugo. And then the rest of the order would be Bagger 11th, Cookie 12th, Vogel 13th, Mansberg 14th, 15th, King 16th for Sparks, 17th for Kruger, 18th Pirelli, 19th Lemon, 20th McGear, 20th, oh sorry, is it McGear? Sorry, McLean. 21st would be Isherwood, 22nd to Blanche, 23rd Gabber, 24th Gray, 25th Gleed, and then 3 men sitting in the pits, Parks, Peens, and Finn Bagen in 26th and 7th. Visagie got some back markers in front of him here. Let's get some onboard footage from the inside of the Aston Martin. You can just hear the gear shifts. Let's get some sound going. Punching bag every time you shift. Oh, little back gurgles. It is a good sounding car, that is for sure. So there we see the gap, 9.1 seconds, according to the split screen between our race leader and second place. I think he's going to be well chuffed with that. Oh, Bago picks up a drive-through penalty in 11th place. Not going to be happy with that. The orange and blue Bentley going to be forced to go into the pits from 11th with only 5 minutes left to go. This is where, if you've got any of those track limits warnings, you have to be oh so careful. Where do we see another gap coming in? Is this McCall? Perhaps he's got... I mean, he's made his way up into 6th. Every time I check back on this man, he's made his way back through the field a little bit more. Really do wish that his pit stop had not gone the way that it had gone. It's giving Cadio a real run for his money there. So Hugo, Dupree and Raven, 8th, 9th, and 8th, 9th, and 10th. Let's go and see what's happening down there.
Pit window is now closed.
So here we can see there's our pit window being confirmed closed. No more pit stops allowed. Hugo, perhaps looking to make a move on Raven in the next couple of laps. Got Dupree hot on his heels. Let's see what their lap times are looking like. Hugo's last lap was 1:58. Raven did a 2:10. So something went terribly wrong for Raven. That's opened the gap here for Hugo to catch back up. 1:59.8 from Dupree on his last lap. Best lap so far. Raven can do a 1:57 dead. 1:57.5 for Hugo and a 1:57.6 for Dupree. So these guys all within the money. Any mistakes made here could be a change in position. As we say, that Raven runs very wide. Not sure that was enough, but it is going to be enough to make the gap smaller. If he is running on last minute warnings, going to be very, very careful. You have to lift, you have to lose speed when you're running off track. It's going to be costly all around. So let's go to some helicam footage, see if we can follow this little battle for a little bit, see if either Dupree can catch Hugo. He's the man at the back of the screen at the moment. In the middle is Hugo in the purple Bentley, and at the front would then be Raven in his Ferrari. Going through T1 and 2 there. Does look like Raven has a bit of an edge on Hugo. Down into T's T3, 4 and 5. Hugo does close down the gap nicely going through T5. Very nice from Hugo there. He's going to catch right back up to Raven here down the straight. Now we see the legs of the Bentley start to shine if they need to. He's got the slipstream. You do see him slowly catching up that gap. And this is where Hugo wants to make a move. Hugo right up on the back. Going to commit to that inside line. And I think this could be a change of position coming in here in the last couple of laps here. Hugo on the inside, Raven on the outside. Big move from Hugo towards the end of the straight. Will Raven fire back? Let's see if he's going to try and find a cutback position. Was very understeery here on the last lap. Both of them looking neat and tidy for the minute going through. But Hugo, big work being done, gets himself into 8th place. Dupree, he might also be able to capitalize on this. Like I said, the mental space of when you've lost the position, especially at this time of the race, he's going to have a lap left to do it if he's going to do it. Dupree looking to maybe find a place onto Raven. Let's just see that Lexus looking very, very good on exits. Let me try and follow some. Let's get a dash view. See if maybe he can capitalize on that same complex of corners. If he's going to do it, he's going to have to do it now. Got a minute left on that race clock. Currently Cadiel, let's see where he is on the track. Is he coming down to start probably his last, so he will start his final lap. I do want to, yeah, he's going to start his final lap. Now, I do want to see if Dupree gets things done on the start-finish straight. This is where Raven lost out to Hugo previously. Let's see if Dupree manages to get, so he's not quite as close as Hugo was on the exit. Really comes down to how, he's done well coming onto the straight. He's going to have the slipstream as well. Raven, he's moving to the middle of the track. I want to see if he decides to hold that inside line. Force whoever wants to come and take him on the outside. It does look like Dupree's got the speed. No, Raven is leaving the inside open once again here. Is he going to lose a position on the last lap to another driver on the same corner? Raven Leaves it open. I think Dupree's got past. Has he managed to keep it on? He has. Dupree's kept it. Dupree takes the position off of Raven on what will be their second last lap. Leaves the door open. Raven gonna beat himself up for that for sure. Cadiel though, he's on our last lap. Let's try and see if we can set up for a little last lap cam. There we go. Bruno Cadiel on screen. Let me try and set this up a little bit better. There we go. Bruno Cadiel for Silverback Racing. Coming round the last couple of corners here at Paul Ricard for the 1 hour round 5 of the RaceFace.Pro series. A great drive. He had a battle with McCall early on, but McCall fighting with his pit crew. Not going to be happy about that at all. And Bruno is going to be happy about it. Flashing his lights as he goes around that last corner for the final time. Bruno Cadiel takes the win here at Paul Ricard. A phenomenal drive and a great finish to the race for Cadiel there. Let's go and see. Versace will take second place. Third place will go to Van Rensburg. He's going around the final corner now. Great race. Third place for Van Rensburg. Gaber for in his Audi. Team Tryhard ZA. He's coming around T15 now. Great race from Paul Gaber to take fourth place. Fifth place, Johannes Grayling in his Aston Martin. So all these guys on their last laps, anything can happen. The guys that have confirmedly finished the race would be from King downwards from P14. So things could change up anywhere along here, but not going to change up for Grayling. He's going to take fifth place. McCall, he's going to find sixth. Unfortunate, really, was battling for first and second. De Wit, seventh place for Hugo De Wit. Batters Hugo with a great drive. Going to take home 8th place. Beautiful colors. Once again, purple. Bentley. Dupree in 9th. Cookie in 10th. Raven bled more down to 11th place. Vogel. He's going to be our man to take home 12th position. And our last man to cross the line will be Van Mansberg over there. So great race coming out from all our drivers. Shout out to Bruno Cadiel, Arno Versace, and Mark van Rensburg there. Just really I just also need to just take let me just take this time to just apologize for some of the race or the stream issues that we had. Couldn't send audio, had to reinstall a whole bunch of things. So we've still got the wrong overlays from previous streams. So I tried my best, guys. It was a great race from my end. And thank you all for joining. We'll be back not next week, but the week after. Hopefully Evo will be back. I missed having the great camera work. And of course, Sushi Bushi wasn't here to keep me entertained. So shout out to them. Shout out to RaceFace. I will catch you guys on the flip side.